Hello and welcome to the Queber channel. I am Jason, your host, and I want to talk about the fear that all disabled people in the UK, have to do with their fair benefits. Remember, these benefits allow disabled people to survive, to live. It isn't by choice. It isn't that we say, oh, we'll have this instead of doing that. Most disabled people on benefits don't have the ability to do a job, don't have the ability to go out and be independent. This isn't something they chose. This isn't something that they wanted. This isn't something that for an easy life. It's not an easy life. But the fear that every single person has who is disabled is lack of control when it comes to their money. Now I know businesses can fail and your jobs can be uncertain and that, but you've always got the choice and chance of getting another job. If the DWP, the Department of Work and Pension, tells you that you don't deserve the money and they stop that money, it can be a death sentence. People die because they can't. They don't have the choice of going to work. The whole point is they're on these benefits because they cannot work. And I know from experience what this is like. In 2008, now, at the time, I was on incapacity benefit and Paola was on disability, and someone made an error. Someone at the DWP made a mistake. Oh, they don't make a mistake. Yes, they do. They made a mistake and they cut all our benefits. Council tax benefit, housing benefit, access to free prescriptions, our income support and our disability living allowance all stopped. And you know how we found out? The Friday that the money was supposed to go in, it didn't go in. Imagine that. Imagine that. Even if you're a working person, if your work could get away with fucking cutting you off instantly and not even fucking tell you. Imagine that. We found out on Saturday because the letter arrived the day after they shut it down and told us to, if we have questions, contact the local DWP office. That was the most terrifying, scary weekend because of course they don't work on the weekends, and so we spent the entire weekend stressing, panicking, crying. We had no fucking idea what was going on. Remember, Paola was going through cancer treatment. She had been told that she had cancer and that she was going to die, that there was no cure for it. And I was on thinking because of my, what they called back then was, for me, reactive depression. And pretty much everything for that weekend was torture. We didn't sleep. We couldn't sleep. We rang them up on Monday morning and found out that it was a technical error. But even though it was a technical error, it took a month for them to fucking sort it. Because the letters had already gone out to the different departments to cancel our stuff. So the local council's departments had already shut down our housing benefits claim and had drafted a letter and had sent a letter to demand the money per week or we'd be removed. In fact, now that I think of it, the letter also basically said we needed to get out of the house. Why? Because it was a medical assist bungalow. And you can only have a medical assist bungalow with the council if you're in receipt of disability now. And that was just because of clerical error. And it took a month to sort it all out, to get everything back in place. And we were on a electricity meter at the time. One of the ones that you have to charge up with a card, because we couldn't afford to let the electricity bill build up. So we had to be on a card for the electricity and gas, and I had to go out every week when the money came in to pay for the next week's electricity, because we couldn't have Paola going ill. We couldn't have Paola being in a cold place. Her circulation was bad. It could be lethal for her. We couldn't let her medication in the fridge warm up above 5 degrees. Thankfully, my mum gave us some money to cover the electricity and that. So, the DWP have gained much more abilities and is going through a situation where they're going to basically try to cut off massive amount of people. They want to save money on the PIP and on the people on disability, even though it's been proved that something like only 0.3% to 0.1% of actual fraud is going on. They actually tried to fight in court not to release the statistics. So people like me who are still on the old system, the PIP system, the Personal Independence Payment, and the Employment and Support Allowance stuff, has to wait. Because one day they'll move me over to Universal Credit, and that's the time when they're going to try to kick me off, like they tried to kick everybody off. That is the time when they are motivated to remove as many people as possible when you have to go through that system. And at any point in time in the next year, my benefits could be stopped because they look into my bank account and they see there's too many things, because now they can look in my bank account. Now everything in my bank account is recorded. I don't have any money that I shouldn't. And the only money that comes into my account sometimes is from selling stuff or from a loan from a friend, and it's all documented so that they can know, because I need new equipment. I have to keep an eye on all of that and make sure it's all thinking, because I actually ring up my bank and let them know when there's a large amount of money going in the bank, so it can be noted on my account where that money's come from. Because I'm so scared that someday some fucking officious asshole or an AI, because they've got an AI system that's flawed, will flag me up as being someone who's got too much money coming in, and they can, before they even talk to me, they can shut down everything. That's a scary part. You don't even actually get to talk to someone and explain. And it is one of the biggest fears, is that I have no control over what happens. And I am not the only one. Every single member of the disability community whose life is enabled by these funds is fucked if the government decides we are, because we're a target. We are a target. We are to blame for everything. We're to blame. Oh yes, we get so much more money than anybody working. I know that's not true, except in the most technical way possible. The extra money I get is so I can have an equal life to someone with less money. It takes more money for a disabled person to live than it does a non-disabled person. They may need a car, they may need equipment, they may need a wheelchair, they may need coping strategies, they may need a white cane, they may need help, they may need lots of things, different kinds of food. And time and again, we are demonized. And they just say, oh, look at this, the amount of people on thingy. They say, oh, there's a lot more people on thingy. There's people who don't want to go back to work. Well, but they never acknowledge the actual reason. We're going to do a thing. We're going to look into it. They already know what's causing it. The government isn't stupid most of the time. They know that COVID plus defunding all the mental health places and all the thing caused more problems. More people who became extremely depressed, anxiety and such like that. That had a knock-on effect. Do you know, if you want to see someone to do with autism now and you don't go private sector, you can be waiting up to 3 fucking years. The local mental health facility for Staffordshire and Stoke-on-Trent is so overloaded that I have been signed off from all of my experts because I have set up coping strategies that work. My primary mental health expert still wanted to see me, but he has basically got 10 times the amount of workload than he can cope with. And he's happy that my stuff is working for me and keeping me safe, and that I can ring up if it becomes a problem. Which means, paradoxically, I don't have the paperwork that I used to have. Which brings on another fear. This is the thing. If it ever happens, it'll happen without me giving any warning. If they ever remove my benefits or anything, it'll just happen without any warning at all. There's protection. There's protection for you as a worker, unless you're in a really dodgy job, that they have to give you notice. As a disabled person whose money is his lifeline, we don't get any kind of protection. The government can just say, eh. And of course, for every single I know they don't say it and that, but they are very motivated in the DWP to reduce the cost. So this is Jason for the Quiver channel. I hope you're all having a good day.